And there you go. And so this one we'll post along with the other one, probably just simultaneously, or maybe tomorrow one and the next day another. Um, so I'll start sharing my screen right now in a second. And so this is day two. We're gonna do a little more hands-on, Christina. So I'm gonna run a little fast through the projects. Um, but you can always follow up with me via emails. We can go back and forth. I can jump on a quick Zoom call with you just to kind of explain it. So this first one that I have on the screen, it's really going to talk about, what, why 3D printing matters, why 3D design matters. I'll just go ahead and hit present, makes it a little easier to read it. Um, if you're working with teachers and you're like, what, I want to show them why they should use it. This has a lot of great information. You can take it. You should be able to download a copy. If you need a downloadable copy, so you can make your own changes to it, I will totally send it to you. Um, Free of charge. We're just talking about that. Um, we like to share what we know free of charge for teachers because you know what? Sometimes it's hard to find good PD. I'm not saying this is the best, but um, anything that you need, we can definitely follow up on. And it's not one of those things where like, hey, well, now you're asking for, individual help, so I have to charge you. No, it just here's some stuff, or we can, connect. And again, just give you an idea of, career connections, why it matters, things that they're gonna learn really that they might not learn anywhere else. And definitely it's engaging for them. And something we talked a lot about last week was project-based learning. So in this resource, this is for you. And again, you guys can share it with as many teachers as you want. If you go back to school, there's like 10 teachers talking about like, man, I want something new. You give them a sneak peek and they're like, I want to do that kind of stuff. Send it to them. If you have a group of teachers like, hey, I have some asking, like, could they get something hands-on? We can do something special for them. And it won't be like any charge. Now, if your district says, hey, we got like 100 teachers that we want to train, I mean, that's where I would step in, myself and Kristen, talk to them. Let's figure out like how would that work out. But if it's a small group of teachers, if it's 20 teachers from the same district, they're all different sites, it's not a big deal to drop down, and drop an hour. Um, Tinkercad basics. This will walk you through the basics of what does everything do, and we're gonna actually look at that live right now in a second. But this is for you to fall back on. Like myself, I go back in about 3 weeks. So if let's say from now till then you guys don't look at this, you're like, I'm gonna go on a trip. You come back, you're like, wait, what did we do? You have that to fall back on. This is how to navigate Tinkercad. Um, this one is what we're gonna look at today, Maureen. I actually added, I think, afterwards or that day, really quickly. This shows you how to convert it. So if you see right here, it's in an old English style of writing. That font's not in Tinkercad, but I'm gonna show you guys how to do that right now. And also how to make your own piggy banks. This is for you to create assignments in Google Classroom and also and it has a GIF that shows students how to submit it through Google Classroom, but from Tinkercad. It has a button that opens a little window and they just submit the assignment there and it shows up as turned in on Google Classroom. These are projects that I've done in the past. I don't know if I even talked about this last week. It's very easy to make stencils. Here are board games that the kids made, and these are pieces they found online or custom made pieces. The actual board is made out of wood. The prototype was cardboard. These kids wanted a 3D printed disc that they made. Here are some of the piggy banks we had in our classroom. This is a custom coin that I made. This one also. I think these are the ones that you have, right, Maureen? One of these. Oh, here they are. I remember I made these like stickers.
Oh,
Um, Cardboard Arcade. Again, we use 3D printing to supplement that. I live in Calexico, California, so it's an area with not too much money being thrown around. So some of the kids were like, "Hey, can we 3D print our prizes?" So we definitely allowed them to do that. This is their prize box, so they can give out prizes. This is cool because I made badges using the Sphero logo. And these were my Sphero team. So I had a group in fifth grade that I would send them to another classroom and they would give the training to the class. The only catch was they couldn't fall behind on their work, and they were really good about not doing that. And some of these were students that started the year struggling, and they stuck to it. And this is just to show you, this is the Eiffel Tower. The kids did different monuments around the world, and they did research, did a presentation, and then here's the monuments that they made. And okay, this is just some slides that were there already from the previous presentation. So way at the beginning, where, oh no, but you already have it, never mind. So this is the project that we looked at last week. The students will make a keychain for somebody that they know. It can be a famous person. It's making one for someone that they respect, but this is for you to display for the students. So they'll see, what's expected, what's not expected. They're going to present on it at the end. Also, at the end, they have a way to get extra credit. Okay, here's some quick note taking, quick jot down the information, and then you have a resource built in right here that if you click on this, it should open up. Um, it's scaffolded writing. So there's a lot of supports for those students that might need it. It's in English and in Spanish. This is a tutorial that you can display for the students, but you can use it yourself also. It's how to make a keychain. You hit play, you can pause it as you're going along, and kids will finish making their keychain right there. They're going to present, here's some tips for them, what to do, what not to do. And then for extra credit, they take the keychain home, give to the person, but they got to have their camera running and they cannot tell them about the project beforehand. And so that was what we did last week, really quick. Christina, do you have any questions? And also, can you tell us what you teach and where you are located?
No, I don't have any questions so far. I was doing fifth and sixth grade, but now I'm moving to fourth grade in Salinas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So right now we're going to do a little hands-on. I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple things, and then I'll give you guys a few minutes to try it out. So one of the cool things about Tinkercad is I'm going to go ahead and log out. Oh, it's it looks funny because I was connected to a projector yesterday. Okay, let me get rid of that. Okay. So when the kids sign up, and I think the navigation one will show you that video. It's really just go to login. They'll go to student accounts. Have them go here, especially if you guys are using Google accounts in your district. Um, you can create their accounts for them just with their name, and then you give them a code. But this is the better way because next year they still have it. They go home over the summer, they have their account, and they can always use it. So as an educator, though, I'll go here. I'll sign in with Google. And I went ahead and put the link in the chat. Now, if, for example, Christina, you have fourth graders, it's going to ask them the first time they sign up if they've never had an account before. It'll say, hey, we're going to collect information. Autodesk is a huge company. They do this, this is their bread and butter. Think of Adobe. Adobe's known for all their, document signing, PDFs, all the stuff that they do, plus Photoshop, and now Adobe Express. You know how Adobe Express is free because of how big the company overall is? So they give back to education by making that free. This is what Autodesk does. They make this for free. It's 3D design software, but they make one called Fusion, which is super high level. And we use it with our robotics team in high school. But this is offered for free for anybody that wants to use it. There is no hidden charge later on. There's no, oh, you get to make 5 designs and then you got to pay, or your school districts have to sign up for like a premium account. No. If you look here, I have 566 designs, and this is my school account. I have my own personal one too that sometimes I use. It depends on where I'm at. Um, and on that one, I have like 800 designs. So when your students sign up, if they're a little older, I think if they're 13 or older or 15 and older, it will not ask them to get, their parents to put their email and sign them up and acknowledge it, or it'll ask them for a class code. For the class code, you just go here, create a class. It's pretty easy. You click create new class, name, what's the grade span, subject is optional, and then you just create. Um, and then when you go here to the class, you're gonna see there's one that signed up. Um, but if I put share class link, this is the code the kids would use. So you just display this. They'll all hit, if they're under a certain age, they'll all hit it like a certain wall, you could say, where they need to get either okay from their parents via email or a code for you to sign up. And so once they enter this, it gives them a funny name. If you notice right here, it gave them the name Bright Mathematician Otter. And that's so that way the kids don't go, oh, that's so and so's account. I'm gonna take it from them. Can they change it? Yeah, I think they can change it on their own. But it starts off giving them that name. So as a teacher, that's for you guys. When you sign up, if the kids are like, hey, I can't move forward, that's what you would need to do. So I would do that beforehand and just have the code on display. Um, so the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and have you guys log in. Why don't we go ahead and log in? And once you're logged in, just let me know. You can let me know in the chat, give me a thumbs up, and then we'll go through just basic nameplates real quick. And then something else we were talking about, Christina, is either continuing the theme with 3D printing, hopefully doing this, at least meeting together once a month. I like this, back to back kind of thing. But it really depends on everybody's schedules, mine also. But it's something that I like to do because it also helps me kind of figure out how to train because that's basically what I do in my district. I'm a technology coach. So, okay, let me go ahead and jump in here again. So once you're here, you're going to go to create. As a side note, there are virtual electronics. I'm just going to jump in there just real quick. If you go to circuits, if you go over here, if you've ever heard of a microbit or an Arduino or others, it has virtual versions of them here, and the kids can learn coding. And the only thing is missing, they don't have the actual physical components in front of them. But you could start teaching coding like that and say your principal is somebody that, you know what, I need to show them the proof of concept. You could start with that and say, hey, if I had the actual physical things, we could make our own race cars, we could do motor boats, and so on. So again, that's just a cool free feature that it has. Code blocks allows you to make 3D designs, but with code blocks, like if you were coding a robot. This is different also. Very cool. Once you get maybe a little more into the year, if you're using a lot of the regular 3D design tools, you could jump into that. But for today, we're just going to go to 3D design, and then you have your grid where we're going to work on. And one of the first things I show kids is the camera. Now, if they have a mobile device like a tablet, they just touch the screen, they can move it around. Or if they have a trackpad, like some of our iPads are in cases that have a little trackpad and keyboard, right click allows me to drag and move my camera around. Left click will allow me to highlight multiple objects, which we could do later. I can zoom in and out by scrolling in and out, up and down. I can also do the same here. If I hold shift and right click, see how it's moving my camera? If I hold shift, it allows me to move my work plane around like this. So if there's something over here and I need to kind of do this to get to this little area, I can definitely do that. Now let's say there's a kid that's like, I don't know where I'm at. I got lost. Like they zoomed in too much. You hit home, boom, brings you back. Finally, this cube does the same thing. I can left click on it and drag it around, or I can snap to different angles by clicking here, and then I can always go back home like that. Now, that's the camera. What I want you to do is click here on this cube. They call it a box. I'm going to place it here by clicking a second time. And I want you to click on drag and drag on each of these little symbols, the white squares, the black squares, the cone, and these little arrows that are chained together. And I want you to see what they do. So go ahead, place a box or another shape that you want, and just play around with it and see what happens. There's also one square in the middle, and that does something very special. A white square. Any questions so far? I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. So just playing around with it, and that's something I like to do with the kids. I just let them, okay, what does everything do? And they love jumping in and explaining everything. Like, oh, it does this. So these white squares, if I drag them, I can stretch it out in two different directions. If I use one of these black ones, though, it only goes in one. This white one in the middle allows me to make it taller, shorter. So right here is the perfect time or perfect way to show, coordinates. X and Y. What is that? Well, X goes in this direction. There's my Y, but here's Z. And sometimes students will hear, oh, what are the dimensions? And they're like, what does that mean? This is what it means. Across, forward, and how tall. The cone allows you to lift it up. So if I wanted to place something right underneath, I can. These allow me to rotate it. Now, if I keep my cursor closer to the object, it rotates in chunks. But if I move it out here, I can fine tune it. I can always undo things by clicking there and redoing. Now, there is a document, I'll share it in a bit. Let me find the link for you guys. If I push D, it drops the object back on the table, on the grid for me. And then finally, one last thing. If I click on here or one of the black ones, I can just type in what I'm looking for. And now I have my rectangle for my keychain. There we go. And so what I like to do is I like to give kids those dimensions. 70 by 30 by 6. And I usually have them use this one right here, which is called tube. And I just tell them, all right, make it the same height. And you notice it's flush. And so when this 3D prints, it's embedded inside, so you won't see any like rough edges. It'll be perfect. Now there's two ways to write the name. I can click on my text. A lot of times the kids will say, hey, there's no way to type it. And they learn that on a computer program, these arrows here, menus. There's menus everywhere that I see these. And a lot of kids will not know that. Actually, I was showing a student that if you hold this down, you'll see your history. And this was a high school student over the last week. She started sharing with everybody. Nobody knew about it. She's like, did you guys know this? And it's just funny. They use these devices all the time, but there's a lot that they don't know. So right here, I'm going to go to my text. Maureen, I'm going to use your name as an example. And I can go here and change to one of four different fonts. The height I'm not worried about, but if I change the bevels, see it gets a little chunkier. And if I go to segments, you notice how it starts to kind of round out a little bit more. And so now I have a different look than what it was. Something else that I want to show you, I need to get it to fit in there. Okay, now I kind of squished it, right? Okay, well, let me undo that. If you hold shift and then change it, look, I'm making it smaller, but I didn't lose its original shape. So if I need a perfect sphere, sorry, and but I need to make it smaller, but I don't want to lose that original shape, I can do that. One more thing. Sorry, I know there's quite a bit I did. I'm gonna definitely leave you guys alone for like a few minutes right now to make your own. I want you to look. Do you see how it kind of like snaps as I move it? Like I'm gonna use my arrow. Oh, it's not letting me. There it is. See how it kind of jumps? That's because it has a snap setting. But if I put this at off, look how smooth it flows. So I can really get that precision that I'm looking for. And there is my keychain. And I'll make it 8 tall. And that will be perfect for printing. And it's done. Oh, and then I click here and put my name. Maureen's special keychain. And I'm done. So go ahead and make your own. As soon as you're done, let me know. Maybe we can share them on the screen. And I'm going to show you where to find a font You can even do a search for different font types, and then how to take that font and put it into that program, Tinkercad. So I'll leave you guys alone for like at least 5, 7 minutes, and then I'll jump back on and see where we're at. But if you're done, just let me know in the chat.
Jesus, do you mind going over how to do the ring on the or the like the hole on the keychain again?
Yeah. So there is a way to cut parts away, but to make it easier for students, especially if they're brand new to it, there's different hoops here. This one is very thin.
Hmm.
See how thin it is? You can change it here, but most kids are probably not going to want to mess with this. And just to get started, I think it's easier just to use this one because it's flat. This one here looks cool, but it can get kind of rough, especially if the person running the printer, it's new to them also. So I use the tube and I like to place it here because you can do this and it creates almost like another work plane. I don't know if you saw that. Um, but what I like to do is place objects away from everything else and then just move it where I need it. So the tube, you place it and then you can always check the height of an object by clicking on it. And in the center, you just hover. This is 6. And then I'll click on the center, type 6, hit enter, and now I have my ring. And I have students that will put it here and say, "Oh, how do I get rid of that?" I usually tell them just put it like here, and it'll be strong enough. Um, I think if we meet again in a couple weeks, we can look at a little bit more advanced stuff like cutting away shapes, duplicating and using the shape to cut within itself to create like a hollow piece. But did that help, Kristen?
Yeah, thank you.
And I do agree with the other loop that you said, the one that's kind of round. The times that I've tried to print that one, it like prints it really weird.
Yeah. So do you have 3D printers in your classroom, or do you guys have a makerspace at your site?
I was able to get a grant, so I have some Bamboo Labs.
Oh, you have the best ones. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But even then, there's still like little hiccups here and there that I'm still not getting
Um, the
used to.
build plate that you have is it like a metal one?
Yeah, the one that it came with.
So while you guys are working, let me show you real quick, Christina. There is a better one now, and it's about 25 bucks, I think. Let me go to the store. I have these three at home. Do
Okay.
you have the bamboo, the A1?
Yeah, the A1.
Oh, perfect. So, accessories. No, I don't want a coupon. Here we go, build plates. This is the one I recommend. It's called Super Tack. Oh, it's only 18 bucks. Um, it's double-sided, so if one side gets really, really bad, you can just flip it over. It's like having two in one.
Okay.
There was one before that you needed glue. Um, if you're only using just regular PLA, you're in a fourth grade classroom, right? So you're not
Yes,
using anything really weird like material-wise, just regular PLA.
I accidentally ordered PETG.
Your
It
printer
was
will run it.
new to it, so I have both PLA and PETG, but I have more PETG.
Ah, perfect. And you can use it. If the printer itself doesn't recognize the roll when you get it near it, you just go into the settings on the touchscreen right here and you can adjust it right here. So if you
Mm.
notice there's this kind of scuffed up, that's to show you like even scuffed up, it'll stick like that. So there's no glue required. It has a very smooth surface after it prints. And I mean, right here, they're using that, but I just bend it and it just pops off because I know the metal one. Sometimes they say wash it with alcohol, wash it with soap.
Yeah.
I went back to the old style one that I happen to have here in my house. I had one. And sometimes I want to run some of my printers because I was getting so frustrated with those metal ones. But that Super Tack one, let me put the link in there for you. Um,
Okay.
that one, I have it on my three printers here at home, and we've gotten them for teachers in our district, and they're so happy.
Okay.
Because let me guess, that's your only problem, right? Like you run it runs great, except sometimes it doesn't stick.
Sometimes it doesn't stick, but I was able to mess with the temperature, so I think I have to put it at a warmer temperature for it to stick.
Are you
But it is a
using
texture one,
okay. Are you using different material or the bamboo brand?
the bamboo brand. Oh, wait,
Okay.
for the filament?
Yeah.
Sunlu.
Oh, Sunlu is good also. And I
Okay.
think it has Sunlu as one of the manufacturer's filaments in their settings.
Yeah.
So they'll adjust if it needs temperature higher or lower for that brand of filament, it'll do it for you.
Yeah.
You won't need it for the Super Tech. Actually, the Super Tech, I think the plate stays cool. It's that texture that gives it the adhesion.
Yeah.
As you guys are working, so Christina, what did you think of that one project with the keychain?
This is nice. This is something that I have tried with my students. I think I got the printers really late in the school year, so it was kind of like I'm learning with you guys kind of thing. And now this following school year, I do want to be able to teach it better to them, especially because I have fourth graders, and I was like, I feel like the fifth and the sixth graders can kind of get the hang of it faster.
Nice.
Um, yeah.
And so, I'm not in the classroom right now, but something that I like to do was not include the hoop, just make like a little nameplate about that size. Um, and the thinner it is, the faster it'll print. So if you're like, I need to get these out really quick, it's the day before, maybe you got your roster really late. If you make them thinner, you can still keep them 70 by 30 and they'll print a little bit faster than if you keep it where it's, the rectangle is I think 6 and the name is 8. But what I like to do is I put names randomly, but print it out on the 3D printer on their desk, and that's what welcomes them the first day of school. And
Okay,
they're
that's
already, I have kids run back to the door and ask the kids, "Did you guys see this?" And I like, no, they haven't even walked into the classroom. Does anybody want to share their keychain yet? I think you have the option to screen share. If not, let me know.
Trying to get the text on the top of the keychain,
You
and
want to
it's
share your? Oh,
it's
okay.
like behind
So you want to
behind
share your
it.
screen and I'll walk you through it.
Okay. Um, okay. Can you see it?
Ah, you have a ruler that came out. Hold on. To your screen. Oh, there we go. Here, let me get my pencil. If you can, get rid of that. Click that X right there.
Right
Get
here.
rid of
Okay.
the ruler. Yeah, that'll make it easier for you.
Okay.
And then, let's see. Let me clear all. Okay. So if you can rotate your screen a little bit, your camera,
How do I do that?
you can use the cube over here on this side.
The cube right there.
There you go. Okay. So what I want you to do is right here, click on that white square and drag it up. The opposite direction. Up.
There we
Go
go.
like this. Yeah, go in this direction.
Okay.
There you go. Now, click over here and drag it onto the rectangle.
Click over. I'm sorry. Oh, I see. Got
There
it.
you go.
Okay.
And then click on the center square again, that's right here. And then type 8 right here.
Oops. Center square. 8.
So if the rectangle itself is like 7, you can either make it like 5 or 6, or you can make the name instead of 8 like 9, and it gives a little more, height. But there you go.
Okay.
And
Thank
I
you.
think, yeah, sometimes like the ruler's cool, but sometimes I feel like it gets in my way and I get confused by it. But I know people that use it because they want exact measurements. But yeah, that looks cool. Do you guys want to share what you guys made so far, or do you want to see how to take, like, say, a Disney style font and put it in there with anybody's name?
I would like to learn about fonts. I mean, I can share my screen really quickly if you want, but it's just a name tag like everybody else's. I can here, I have so many things open here. Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
So I just put my husband's name on there. Um, I was going to try and get fancy and I was looking for a shamrock to put on it. But when I looked at this is giant. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, we're not going to mess with that. So that's all. But yeah, I also started to look at the fonts. And
Yes,
so I'm interested in learning what you were going to tell us about that.
definitely. Okay, let me go ahead and jump on here. And so in Tinkercad, like just real quick, if I do a search for like a shamrock, was it clover? So sometimes objects will have something here saying, oh, you can't make it smaller. But you could just hold shift and see I'm making it smaller. And now, if you wanted to put it in there, Maureen. Um,
Yeah, I realized I didn't want to mess with it that much. I was afraid I'd get caught, which I did.
so font space, you can go down here and find just random stuff, or I can do a search for, say, school. This one's pretty cool. Any of these really you can use. You might get some funny results on some that have tiny little details, like this one that I saw that has like a book and a pencil inside. That might not print out so well because the size of the nozzle, which later on we can talk on a different workshop. What happens if I change the size of my nozzle? Well, you can make miniatures. Like my son was 3D printing miniatures for his board games. Um, but even then, he wasn't getting the detail that he wanted because he wanted to go really small. So for his 18th birthday, I ended up getting him a SLA printer, a liquid printer. But for right now, I'm just gonna pick this one. I'll put Kristen's name and then hit enter. Oh, wait, that's the search bar. This is where I should put Kristen's name. And so here, if I scroll down, you're gonna notice that some of these have different options on these little dots. So if you see the dots, there's different options there. So I'm gonna go here and click on the image. The reason is, see that checkered background? That means it has no background already. Perfect. I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to go to this website, pick SVG. And in the chat, let me go ahead and put the link for font space and for pick SVG. So I'll go here and upload a picture. Here's the font I just downloaded. I'll scroll down a bit more. So it's going to look kind of funny, but what I want is Edge 4. See how it didn't really fit in? So I'm going to go ahead and try like internal one. Perfect. Once it looks how I want it to look, I'm just going to click download. Now I have it. I'm going to go into Tinkercad. By the way, if you want to make a duplicate, click here. No, it's not here. Sorry. I have to go back to the main page. The main page, I can access it from here, or right there, I can put new design. What I want to do is go ahead and create a new design. And before I put a rectangle, I'd rather just import it now just so you can see it. So here's my import button. I'm going to choose my file. Something that I like to do is scale it down to 25%. If not, it's going to be gigantic. And then you just hit import. And there it is. And of course, oh, I forgot to hold shift. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Now, I have students that will say, oh, can I print it just like that? And I ask them, okay, especially if they've already seen some 3D printing, what's the problem here? Well, there's no base, so all these letters will be by themselves. So can't really print it like that, so I do need to put something underneath. And there we go. So the steps would be find one that you like, click the image, and this is on that resource that I shared with you guys. The video shows exactly the same thing. I click here on the image, save it, go to pick SVG, upload it, try Edge 4. If that doesn't look right, then go to the internal, start with internal 1. Looks great. Download it, go to Tinkercad, import, choose that file, and then reduce it to 25% or lower. 25% I think is pretty good. And then, sorry, my little bar's in the way, import. And depending on I mean, this is all web-based, so it could be that, it takes a bit to load. If you have a lot of kids working at the same time, sometimes that's a problem, but there you go. Okay. Go to
Is
get,
it,
yes, go ahead.
sorry, can I ask, do you always suggest that we start with Edge 4? Like you're always going to have to make some modification to the import?
I know there's one that I say in the video, so it's probably going to be different. So I'm going to say try with the internals.
Okay.
Well, let me just show you really
Just
quickly.
play with it is the bottom
Yeah,
line.
but there's another thing that you can do. Let's see. I'll say Batman silhouette. So if I grab a silhouette of, say, Batman, this one, I upload I have to take a screenshot of it. It's not going to recognize it. That's like a new file type from the last few years, WebP. Nothing accepts it. I don't know why. So you need to take a screenshot sometimes. That's okay. Should pop up in a second. There you are. Boom, there we go. I'll download it. So later on, you can, have the kids make one like for Father's Day. I like to do one right after testing. I get that as a request from a lot of teachers, like, hey, I want to do some stuff for dad. He's kind of like forgotten about by the kids because I mean that holiday is not really, when the kids are in session. But here's my Batman. And so you can do that. And then this is also, it can be a keychain. So let me go ahead and have you guys give it a try. If you get stuck, just let me know. I'll be right here.
Do you know if all of this, so our students have Chromebooks? Um, is this doable in the Chromebook? Like they can
Yes.
download things? Okay. I know I've
If
done this for myself, but I'm telling you, I haven't done it a lot with the
yeah.
students.
If for some reason there's a website that's blocked, I would just look up SVG converter. There's some that might work better than others. The reason I like Pick SVG, I've never seen an inappropriate ad. They will have ads for like stores, but I like it because you see the preview. I've had kids, when that site is blocked, I'll tell them just try to pick the first couple ones and see which one works best for you, and they'll get some results like half the images there. But that's why I like Pick SVG because then it has those options. Can I just do the outside? Because I've had students do just the outside and they make a cookie cutter out of it.
Yeah, I was able to, I actually, when I typed that page and I noticed I had it starred, I did our school logo. Our principal was leaving, so I did an SVG for our school logo.
Nice.
Made her a little plaque with that.
Very cool. So I think this will take us pretty much towards the end. Um, and then we'll talk more about what would be a good time frame to meet again and which direction do we want to go in. But let me go ahead and I'll mute myself so you guys can focus.
Can I ask another question as somebody who does not have a printer? Um, are these then printed like the file isn't saved and then you have to open whatever platform the printer uses and then print it through there?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you want, I can even demonstrate that right now, like how to pull it from Tinkercad and how to place it, in the software and slice it and all that. I can do that right now in a bit.
And then another question, if you're not designing it, because I know like there's sites like I was
A
just on
Thingiverse is one of them.
yeah, in like Cults 3D, where you can go on and you can find like free and then like paid
Yeah.
templates and stuff. Those you would just open directly through whatever the printing platform is, correct? And it would
Yeah.
print.
So, Christina, you have bamboo printers, so I'm sure you've used Maker World or you've seen stuff on the app. They have their own kind of repository. And like the Labubu that I have, that's where I found it. Like somebody had designed this and uploaded it for free. I don't know if this is copyright infringement or what. I mean, I don't know if this is actually from Labubu, because it's very much accurate. Because I've seen these, I have students that have the real ones, and then they have the Lafufus, the fake ones. Um, but there's a few sites, and I can share some with you guys right now in a bit. There's Cults. There's one called My Mini Factory for miniatures, but then people will upload really nice like sculptures. Um, Thingiverse. And so I'll show you how to grab something also from Thingiverse in a bit. If we run a little long, if you guys don't mind sticking on for an extra 5 minutes, if we need an extra 5 minutes, I can show you guys. Definitely. So if you guys want to work on that, and then let's say in 5 minutes, we'll see where you guys are at. Okay, any questions? Were you guys able to convert them? Awesome. Awesome. And I would say practice, and I mean you have the videos to fall back on. Let me just show you very quickly how it looks to pull it out. Let me go ahead and launch my software, Bamboo Studio. And then put nope. And then I'm going to create a new project. So this is my work area, kind of like Tinkercad. I mean, I can rotate, look at it. There are some that can allow you to add shapes. But for this one, I would add here a file that it can recognize. Now, right here, I have all this stuff. One thing, and we can look at something more advanced next time, and we can talk about that in a minute or two. Um, if I do what I just did, I grouped it together. So now when I move one object, they all move. The reason for that is if I see how this is highlighted? If I go to export where I would pull the file for printing, see how it says selected shape? It's only going to pull the one that's highlighted. Sometimes kids will pull something, they're like, hey, how come it's blank? Because we might have not gotten to where I group everything together. And so a good practice would be have the kids, have everything how they want. They highlight everything. And this is in the video, so don't worry about doing this now. And this allows them also not to make mistakes later on because now I can move it from anywhere and it's one piece. And if I put the tube on there as the keychain ring, group it, it's one piece. So I'm going to export it. Um, you can download it as other items. You can also download it for a laser cutter. If you guys have questions about laser cutters, I can also do a training on laser cutting. Um, so I'm going to pick STL. It has a funny name. I can click here and change it. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into Bamboo, drop it in there, and there it is. Now, let's say a student, you know what, it's a student that struggles, wasn't paying attention, and you're like, great, it's not the dimensions I wanted. That's okay. If I click scale, I can say 70 by 30, but you're going to notice something. When I change this to 30, this didn't say 70 because I have uniform scale selected. So I'm going to uncheck this. 70 by 30 by 8. And now I have the keychain that I need. Another thing I can do here, and I know, Kristen, you were asking because you're gonna have access to a 3D printer pretty soon. I can duplicate this several times, and then I can push A on my keyboard with this software, and it'll arrange it for me automatically. I have it set to this material, PLA wood. I have other materials here. Most softwares are going to give you this. Um, I'm going to go ahead and hit slice, and that tells it how many layers it should be and what to do at each layer, how high to lift per layer, and so on. And then I have a sneak peek of what it looks like. If I put in there, I'm using their brand, they give me a estimated price of how much the roll is worth. Um, if I paid, I think it's like the default's like $22. All of these are going to cost me $3 in material to print. Now, I can also do this, and this shows basically a time lapse virtually of it being printed out. And then here I can also show it. Here we go. This is the one I was looking for, sorry. And so this is what it'll look like. And you can actually show students what the inside looks like right there, see? So you don't have to actually stop one and break it, or if you stop a bunch of them halfway, you can show the kids, hey, it's actually not solid. It's only 15% solid or whatever it is. Let's say if you're using Thingiverse. And I do have a video on Thingiverse, so let me see if I can add it today to the presentation. How to navigate and find stuff. Um, with Thingiverse, you want to be a little careful about letting students have access to it. I know Kristen had to leave, so she'll see this. If I put bust, like I'm looking for a statue of somebody, this can happen, but then this can happen. So usually I don't tell students about this website. Um, I will tell them, what are you looking for your cardboard arcade? Let me get it for you. Because sometimes some things will, you know, kids are curious. If I put bikini, okay, wait a minute. Now they're gonna see some stuff that you might say, whoops, if they see this stuff, I'm gonna get in trouble. Okay. This site might not be blocked though. So you have to be very careful about what you introduce. Tinkercad, you most likely will not find anything like that. There is a way for them to do a search. I've never seen students say they found anything inappropriate there. But let's say I want one of these bikini bottom lamps. If I scroll down and go to files, if I only want, say Squidward's house, I can click here, download that. Or I can download all files and it'll give me a zip file that I just have to open up and have access to everything. With that file, I just have to go here. Let me go ahead and delete everything. Import it. And I might say, you know what? Wanted half that size, but 50%. Oops. Let me put uniform. And then we're good to go. And I want to see if it will do this time. It did not. Um, what I like is if there's an issue with the model, you'll see an orange flag right here basically saying, hey, there's a problem with this model. You might need to put supports, which are right here. Awesome. Okay. Any questions? I can answer some last minute questions. I got a few more minutes.
I was just going to ask, since you do use Thingiverse, I have tried to not use Thingiverse until the students have kind of not mastered, but are more comfortable with. I want them to use their design thinking. I want them to try and create as much as they can, but I know that's a much more advanced process than, hey, let's just go find it and use what's there, right? Is it easier, or do you think it's better to have them exposed and get excited about all the stuff that's on Thingiverse and then go back and go, okay, now let's create some models? Or I'm just wondering about my thinking. Like my thinking was I want them to do it first and then go find the other things, but maybe I
Um,
need to
in
switch
the
my
past,
thinking.
I've introduced it sooner than later, and I've had students try to pass off stuff as their own, and then I tell them, okay, take it apart, and they can't because they figure out how to import it into Tinkercad,
Right.
and when it looks too good, you're like, okay. Um, I don't think kids, I mean, I've had kids use Thingiverse before, and I didn't know that they might see some stuff on there like, whoa, like weaponry stuff and all that. Um, so now I try to be more careful. I also tell the kids, hey, whatever you search up, we're gonna see what you search up. Um, Most of the time they look up Pokemon, when they have used it.
Yeah.
I like for them to make things till they hit that wall where like, okay, we're doing this project, but I need like you said, a golf club, you know, or I need this thing, but it's for my cardboard arcade game. And like one year these kids were making one and they needed those little frogs that you flick at the end and they jump. And they couldn't find them anywhere. Even they're like, maybe the 99 cent store. They always have weird stuff, and they couldn't. And I'm like, man, these kids are never gonna ask about the printers. I just left them off to the side, like, when they gonna ask? And one goes, hey, could we try to find it? Oh, let me show you guys Thingiverse. And then I was like, everybody wanted to use Thingiverse.
Right, right.
And I think if they make stuff first and then see Thingiverse, they learn when I need something quick, that's what I'll use. Kind of like how we use AI right now. But most of the time it's like has to come from here because okay, like last week, no, actually Tuesday, I worked with high school students, um, and I told them, make your bedroom at home. We're not gonna 3D print it, just make me a model of it, like display it. Or if you share it with siblings, how would it look if you had your own room to yourself? And they ran with it. And I think the satisfaction they get from making it first really helps them. And then once they can't find that object, it's like, okay. But like this with the SVG, if you tell them, all right, I want you to make a token related to something that's important to you. It could be a team, it could be a movie, it could be a type of food. Like, why is that like special to you? Oh, you know what? My family, we always go every Saturday to, In and Out. We go get burgers and shakes. That's why I have the In and Out thing. Okay, why is that special to you? Um, they could still make it themselves, but I think kind of like with AI and other tools, I might not let students see it till it's like, okay, we're at a and it's hard to do sometimes because I want to leave it where I want them to ask for it. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
Yeah.
could I use this tool? Could I use this website?
Right.
Um,
Where can I find this? If I'm getting an image here, but I want it to be something else and I really want to make, I actually had a student make a model of a robot and I was shocked. She did the whole thing. And I asked and I searched. It's like, yeah, she really did it. So I was very impressed, but another student went and did similar thing, but did it straight off a Thingiverse.
yeah.
So that's my thing is trying to weigh like when's it best to allow them and when's it best to let them struggle through it a little bit.
And I think most kids will want to make things, and then the ones that, I mean, I hate to say it like that, but the ones that are being lazy and want shortcuts, usually what I do is I talk to them and say, like, okay, I understand you got frustrated or you thought, well, it's too hard, but you're never going to get better at this till you keep doing this, you keep practicing and so on. So, but yeah, that's how I would approach it.
Well,
Um,
thank you so much.
so I'm thinking next month, if you guys want to continue, we can do more stuff with 3D printing if that's what you guys are interested in. I know, Christina, you just got your printers. Um, what do you guys think? What would you guys like to see? I'm gonna go ahead and stop on the recording.